Well, welcome to Lead and Achieve. I'm Dr. Caracas Watkins, better known as Doc Rock. We're going to have a good time tonight. I have my friend tonight with me, Kim Lewis, who's I'm getting ready to introduce, and we're going to talk about a lot of things. You want to tune in. You don't want to go nowhere. Matter of fact, take your finger and hit that share button and share with all your friends from around the world, because it's going to be really, really good tonight, and I'm excited. So, Kim Carter Lewis, okay, is the Chief Executive Officer of Project XYZ Incorporated, a business that provides services and products in the areas of engineering, logistics, technology, manufacturing, alternative energy, and international foreign military sales. She leads a workforce that supports federal and commercial customers across seven diverse subsidiaries and at locations across the United States and around the world. Lewis has a 25-year career spanning business operations and management, technology, and federal government contracting. She's been doing it for, what do you do? You started when you was 5, I guess. Okay. Yeah, something like that. A lifelong resident of Madison County, Alabama, Lewis would later become the first black female elected as board chair of the Huntsville-Madison County Chamber of Commerce, and most recently, the first black female owner of North Alabama's only locally owned broadcast television station, WTZT TV. They own that, okay? And that's simply awesome. Makes me nervous that I got a television owner here on my YouTube channel. Okay, guys, y'all got to help me out. Lewis' previous career roles and studies in healthcare and information technology set the foundation for starting Project XYZ, and where she was previously involved in management of IT implementations and projects for large healthcare companies. She earned a degree in computer information systems at John C. Calhoun State Community College. Now, I'm going to talk about, she don't want me to read all this, I'm sure, but I'm going to, because you need to know. You really do. I'm going to talk about honors, awards, and recognition. Here they are. Women that shaped the state, Alabama Media Group. Women that of impact for the state of Alabama, Yellowhammer Media. Women of distinction, Girls Scouts of North Central Alabama. Russell Brown Executive Leadership Award, Huntsville-Madison County Chamber of Commerce. Women's Economic Development Council Women Honoring Women Award. College of Business Fellow, University of Alabama, Huntsville. U.S. Department of Defense Non-Perry Mentor Protege Award, U.S. Chamber of Commerce Women-Owned Business Achievement Award. Yep, that's all this. I'm going to read them. U.S. Chamber of Commerce Business Blue Ribbon Award. Wow. Huntsville-Madison County Small Business of the Year. Congratulations for that. Inc. 5000, 4-time recipient, fastest growing companies. That's all her, okay, in her company and those who work with her. Current board appointments. He's the current board appointments. Huntsville Utilities, Cummins Research Park Board, Huntsville, Alabama. Crestwood Medical Center, Huntsville, Alabama. Public Affairs Research Council of Alabama, better known as PARCA. Women Economic Development Council Foundation. University of Alabama, Huntsville, UAH Foundation. John C. Calhoun State Community College Foundation. Health Establishment at Local Schools, Hills, she's on that board, and Huntsville Botanical Gardens. She's on all those boards. When do you sleep? You know, you're running 3 companies. Oh, my goodness. Or more than that. Yeah. Okay, her previous appointments were Huntsville-Madison County Board Chamber, National Children's Advocacy Council. She was the board chair of that. She's the board chair of the Huntsville-Madison County Chamber, as well. Huntsville Hospital Foundation, she was a trustee of that. United Negro College Fund Committee, UNCF, she was a chair. Personally, she is married to Larry Lewis, yes, who's an engineer, and him and I talk about geeking out sometime, because I'm one of those guys, okay, who joined Project XYZ in 2007 as their president. She has 2 daughters, Sandy and Leah, right? Leela, and 1 grandson, Elijah. Let's welcome Kim Lewis to Lead and Achieve. Kim, how you do all this stuff? What? Oh my goodness!
You didn't have to read all that. You really did.
I know. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I had to.
No.
Oh my goodness, Kim. Kim, I am excited. I'm blessed. I'm thankful for you being my guest tonight. You all don't know this. I sit on the Huntsville, well, some of you know this, but you don't know what I'm going to say. I sit on the Huntsville Chamber Board in their executive committee. And I got on that executive committee about almost 4 years now because Kim was chair and there was a vacancy and she suggested me. They chose me. Wow. and,
For good
and
reason.
and that's how I actually got on there as an appointee, and now of course been vice chair of small business, not small vice chair of workforce, vice chair of Reggie now, and it was vice chair of the last year of the diversity and inclusion. You know, so it takes people to help you to get where you at. Leadership. And Kim, I'm gonna give you a definition of leadership. I stole this from Dr. Miles Monroe.
Okay.
One of my late Miles Monroe, who's a great mentor to many people. And Dr. Monroe defined leadership as the capacity to influence others through inspiration, motivated by a passion, generated by a vision, and produced by a conviction, and ignited by a purpose. And I always tell people leadership is influence. You know, it's life discovery. You know, in all you do, because let me say, and we're going to get to this. This lady is a serial entrepreneur, her and her husband. I mean, they own several businesses, and they got to lead in those businesses. We were talking off camera earlier about changing some things. Now, how do you see leadership?
It is. I consider myself a servant leader. I'm one of those people that want to empower the people around me to do their job, and I want to be able to provide those tools to them. And the best way to do that is to be a servant leader. So when I think of leadership, I am setting the goals, setting the example, but I also want to make sure that the people that are working with me and for me have the resources they need so they can rise up to the next level too.
Now, I'm going to put you on the spot just a minute. You are an African-American woman, of course. That's the CEO of a thriving business and even the umbrella of Project XYZ. I mean, what are the challenges with that? You know, what comes with that? Because Kim, you make it look easy. Okay, and everybody like, Kim Lewis, hey, I want to be like that. I want to be like her. And that's good. That's great. And you make it look easy, but, you know, it's like, we know it's not easy. So, I mean, what challenges do you have with that?
There are challenges every day. I mean, being an African-American woman, stepping in places where it's not normal for you to be in, it's a challenge every day. Of course, you have challenges when you go. You still have issues when you try to go get a loan. You still have issues when you walk in a room and you have to prove yourself over and over again. So even after we've been in business over 20 years now, it's still a constant revalidation every time you do certain things that's outside of your norm. People want to put you in a box sometime, and when you're in that box, you know that. But when you step out of that box, it changes the perspective, and people sometimes have to get used to you in those different roles.
Wow. So you should. Let me say this, and we're gonna do a Q&A. We're gonna try to do that. So get your questions together. Go ahead and tag me. You know, go ahead and chat me up now. Chat it up, right? And we're gonna try to get to some of those. Now that's interesting because you all been in business over 20 years, proving yourself, but yet and still you got to revalue yourself in a sense and show your value all the time.
You do. I mean, like I said, I think sometimes people see you in a certain bubble. When you get out of that bubble, they don't know how to accept you in those different worlds. I mean, take it for example, in 2020, we purchased a manufacturing. That's not something we were used to doing. And there were some people that were skeptical whether we could succeed in that. But it's one of those things, when you run a business and you have a good engine like we do at Project XYZ, you can put other industries into that engine and it'll still flow. As long as you put the right people in place and the right skills in place, you can still make it work. And me and Larry are truly vested in what we're investing in. So we want to make sure it's going to succeed. So we give it the tools and the resources it needs to make sure that can happen.
You know, I think that's powerful because a lot of times we think that, you know, things just happen, but we have to put the tools in the resource. I always tell those who work with me, those who I lead, say, I'm going to give you all the tools you need for your tool belt.
Correct.
Okay, and if you do not succeed, it won't because we didn't give you the tools, right? It's going to be because of other reasons. And it is tough, but you know, one thing you said that remind me, y'all didn't stop. You didn't stop, Kim.
No.
I mean, you know.
We've heard a whole lot of no's throughout there. We've made a lot of sacrifices and things to make stuff work because we were determined that those no's were going to stop us.
Now, let me ask you, because people see you now, they see your all success, and you probably looking at me and saying, you know, and we're gonna and I'm gonna talk about family because you know you one of 10.
I am.
Was raised up on a farm.
That's true.
In Triana.
That's it.
Right. I mean, your mom and dad had 10 kids. You
Yes.
okay? And you the youngest, right?
I am
Right? You the baby. All right.
the youngest.
The youngest. Oh, see her? Oh, those who watching. You hear how she said that? I hope some of her siblings are watching. Not to make the youngest.
Correct.
The
It's a
but-
fight we have all the time.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
they still
do.
want to call me their babysitter. I'm like, yeah, I'm almost 50 years old. We can drop the baby. I'm just the youngest.
Yeah, it came out then. Yeah, but look where you at, and I think that those who are watching, whether you are African American, whether you are lady, whether you man, Caucasian, don't make a difference. We all have a starting point.
Correct.
You know, and we all start somewhere, but your start is not your ending.
Correct.
And
That
you
story's still
persevered.
being
Oh
written.
my goodness, your story's still being written, right? You know, I want to switch gears for just a second.
Okay.
You're the first African American woman to be chairperson of the Huntsville-Madison County Chamber of Commerce in the history of the chamber. I mean, Huntsville Chamber was what 3 or 4 years ago voted the #1 chamber in the country.
Correct.
Okay, and you took the hems of that. And I was on that board when it happened, and I was proud that you had that position, and because you earned it. You didn't. Nobody give you anything. You earned it. I mean, you put your time in. But tell me about that and the challenges with that, and then I mean, what if somebody else want to do that and rise to that level? I mean, what has to take place to get to those type platforms? If I can say
You
it
got
that
to
way.
make a commitment that you want to get involved, and that's how I got started. I started out at the chamber doing what they used to call TRC, but it's basically selling memberships. I was actually working for the chamber as far as parts of making sure that people knew what was going on as an ambassador for the
Right.
chamber. So there were different levels. I worked with the Women's Business Council of the chamber. So there were different levels of things that I did, and I showed an interest that I understood what the chamber and the importance of the chamber was to the community. And then the opportunity came for me to get on the exec committee, and I let people know what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do that. And that's one thing, we've got to be comfortable enough with ourselves and our abilities to know that we can handle those things when we put ourselves in those positions. So it was hard that year because not only was it pressure from our community, because it was the first one, and I wanted to make sure I did a good job
And you
of
did.
representing. And I also wanted to make sure that I didn't miss anything of what the chamber needed me to do.
Right.
So it was, I probably put in, as Larry says sometimes, I probably put in more hours than I should have, but I wanted to make sure they saw the commitment from me, and I wanted to make sure that I was doing the best for the community as a whole.
You know, because unfortunately, when you and this show is of course not about race, but at all, but being the first, you know, we sometimes as African Americans we can't represent just ourselves
Correct.
as individuals, right? We have to represent the race, and I thought you did a great job of that. I really do. You know, but there's some people out there right now, and they're saying, you know, how do you do that? How do you minority? There's not a lot of people that look like me that's on that board. You know, what are my first steps? Do I join the chamber? Do I come to some meetings? Do I go to some of the events? Because people don't know.
Yeah, I would say truly, just get involved somehow. Whatever level it is that you can get involved, start getting involved and understanding what is happening in the community, because those are the things that kind of propel you to know who to talk to, who to get engaged with, who to communicate with, that you're interested in those kind of things. I think sometimes there's opportunities there, but people don't know you're interested. So if you don't know they don't know you're interested, and you don't know how to get into those positions, it's got to be a twofold. They got to know you're interested, and you've got to take the initiative to go out and get it.
Wow, because even you chamber chairperson, you meeting people. I mean, you meeting the governor. You're taking pictures with the governor. You in meetings that probably only you and a few other people like you in. I mean, how is that? Does that expand you? You know, because I never saw you with any kind of arrogance, and never what we call the big head. None of that stuff. But what does that do to you as a person and your growth? Is it?
I think it made me grow because it put me in chairs and in rooms where I wouldn't have normally even known even existed. So I think it opened my eyes to opportunities of things that could help our community, and it could help people in general, and making sure that information got further out than normal. Because one of the things that we did the year I was chair was like the Second Chance Job Fair, because I wanted to make sure we were having issues with workforce. So let's try something different. So I was talking with some of the folks there. Let's work on workforce. That was my big thing that year. So there's things, and then instead of just putting it in certain areas, I said, we got to make sure it's advertised in the church. It's got to be advertised where some of the people that we want are at. So I think it's just looking at stuff differently and having a different perspective, because it was a different person in that seat that had different perspectives and different ways of looking at stuff. So I think that actually expanded some of the things the chamber was able to do.
You know, and I think that's good because, you know, even when it comes to diversity and inclusion and, you know, equity, all those things, you know, when we have a diverse board, when people from different perspectives, because we see things different.
Yes.
Even within the same race, even within the same family, you know, we all still have a little slant on how we see things. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's just your own personal experiences.
Yeah, it's your own personal, and we need more of that. And hopefully the night we can get to Rebecca Ryan, who talked earlier.
Yeah.
But she talked about how diversity, and it's proven that when you have women, you have African Americans, whomever, you know, Hispanics or whatever, in the room, more companies grow. They're more profitable.
They're more profitable because you've gotten a different demographic looking at it, and you've got a different group of people you can try to influence to understand whether they want to buy your product or if they want to try to, you know, learn what your company's doing, because you're putting it out to a different group of people. But if you are putting the same type of people in positions and not getting a different perspective out there, you're not going to get anything different.
Yeah, right.
Because not anything wrong with that. They just hadn't seen it. So how can they give you that perspective if they don't know?
You're right. So Triana, on the phone.
Yep.
Where you're at now, that's a totally different mindset.
It is.
That's a totally different way of looking at things. Nothing wrong with either one.
Correct.
It's just different. How did you make that journey? Who helped you? You know, who are your mentors? You know, your mother and father have to be incredible people.
They were.
Okay,
They
we're incredible people. Of course, I know. Yeah. You know, but you know, you may want to talk about that. But how did you get there? I mean, what's the journey? That's like going. You know, from England over here. I mean, that's a big piece of water that you crossed over.
I was blessed. Like you mentioned before, I'm the youngest of 10. So I saw a lot of siblings do some things that were unusual. And I learned something from each one of them on how to do certain things. So I was just blessed that I actually saw a whole lot of examples of ways to do things differently and to change circumstances if you wanted to. Don't get me wrong, when Daddy, he just passed away back in January, but before then, years ago, he still had us down there on Saturdays during the summer, and we were shucking corn and doing whatever he told us to do at the farm, because that's just the way things were.
Wow.
So,
I'm going to come back to that. Yeah.
No. It's okay. But it was just one of those things that never leaves you, but that doesn't stop you from being able to experience other things. You know, neither one of my parents went to college. So, but they made sure that we all went to college and had opportunities that way to learn what else is out there. Because I think a lot of time only way you're going to learn that there are other things is either to learn it from reading it or learning it from seeing it. So we had the opportunity to go to school and actually see people in certain positions and learn about them, because sometimes example is the only way that you know there's even an option.
Right.
So we were just blessed that was the case.
You know, and I know you want to go back to it, but somebody need to hear this, because here you are, CEO of a serious company. You all have bought a television station. You doing manufacturing. I don't think no African Americans even doing manufacturing on your level that you are in the state. Okay, in the whole state of Alabama.
Not that I'm aware of.
No, yeah, not you know, in the whole state of Alabama, but yet you're going and shucking corn.
Yes.
Okay, on a Saturday, because I think sometimes we get to the place that we think we're above that.
Oh no.
You know,
My parents kept us very humble. My daddy's favorite term is, "You're no better than anybody, but you're just as good as everybody." And that kept us humble.
Say that again.
Because he never wanted us to be arrogant, but he kept us humble. Yeah. But he also wanted us to know we could be just as good. So he used to always say that you are no better than anybody, but you're just as good as anybody. So that way we understood that you can't put yourself up here, because that can easily be taken and fall down.
Right.
But you can achieve whatever you want to if you put your hard work in and do it. And that's just something that stuck with all of us, because that's just who he was. And he always told us, use what you got.
Use what you got.
Because there are things out there that we can achieve and grow from that we don't even realize the resources that are right there around us. And if you use basically what you got right there, you can take it to the next level, and then you can get the next thing to take it to the next level.
Yeah, because a lot of times we complain and we say, I don't have this, I don't have that. I tell people, only thing that God wants is your 2 fish and 5 loaves. That's all he requires. Just what you have in your hand.
Yep.
What do you have in your hand? And same thing. You
Yep.
use what you got. And because a lot of times I found, Kim, that people use excuses. Well, I'm not here. Well, I'm not Kim Lewis because this or that or whatever. When excuses are just smoke screens for the uncommitted, right?
Yep.
That's what I believe. I say this all the time. Excuses are just smoke screens for the uncommitted. You got to be committed to success. You got to be committed to the grind, right?
Well, I mean, as we said, we were always hustling. You know, we worked. When I started Project XYZ, I was working a 9 to 5 every day at a hospital, doing that. Nights and weekends is how Project XYZ got started.
Y'all listen to this. She was doing a 9 to 5. Okay.
And then my little one, because I was a single mom at the time.
Single mom.
And when she went to bed, I was working nights and weekends, doing the same kind of healthcare IT work for other hospitals throughout the country, to the point where I got enough work where I could leave my full-time job and go to work for Project XYZ full-time. So it was something that if I didn't want to make that commitment to do that, I wouldn't be where I am today.
And see, and I think that's because sometimes we see the glory, like I said, but we don't know the story.
No.
It is so much behind. It's so much work. It's so many late nights, so pain,
Yep.
and just sheer grit behind all the spectacle. And I want to say this to everybody. You can achieve your dreams, you can achieve your goals, but it's going to take work.
It's going to take a whole lot of work. And it's going to take a whole lot of no's, too. There was a lot of things that didn't work out for me, or the way I thought they would work out. There were times, especially when we bid on our big first NASA contract, I remember going home crying when they told me we didn't win that. Larry said, "You can't cry about that stuff, Kim. It's going to happen." I said, "We worked our butt off." But that failure made us put in 10 times more work to make sure that didn't ever happen again. Well, it happened again a couple times where you don't win the contract,
Sure.
but you still work just as
Right.
hard. But you learn from those mistakes so that you won't make them again, and you'll know how to make it better for the next time. So those no's are just learning opportunities. It doesn't mean you can't succeed, can't do it. They're just learning opportunities to get you to the next level.
So hopefully everybody get this. They learn opportunities. I always tell people, here's why I go. Generally, when I go to a different country, I've been in all these countries, around the world for the last 20 years, and I generally try to find, and most of them I do, a Kentucky Fried Chicken. Listen, and somebody says, "Oh, Kentucky Fried Chicken." Now, first of all, if you ever in Trinidad or Tobago, go to Kentucky Fried Chicken. It is simply awesome, and it does not taste like anything like here. But the reason I do that is because I'm reminded of Colonel Sanders. He's almost 65 years old when he first started the first franchise, and the story says, he had about almost 1,000 no's, on his famous recipe. No. But look. Now KFC is around the world. It's in Nigeria. I mean, like right there in Shiraliri. Okay?
Yeah.
Right?
So it just may take you longer than it took somebody else, but that doesn't mean it can't happen.
Don't mean it can't happen. Now, and we kind of skirted around this a little bit. Project XYZ, the television station, manufacturing, government. Biz, y'all see Biz, whatever,
Biz Tech,
all that stuff.
We got the restaurant.
The restaurant, by the way.
Superhero Chef in Tuscany.
Yes, Superhero Chef. Go. It is really, really, really good. Okay, I've had the food. Okay, it's dynamic. And so go
on
and
Main
eat.
Street, downtown Tuscany, so make sure you go by and check it out.
Check it out. Okay. Okay. You got a government DOD contracts.
Correct.
And then you go all the way over to food, and in between there, you got manufacturing and a television station, and all the and a few other things you're working on. Yeah, Kim's Closet. We ain't forgot about that one. Okay, and she pretty sharp. Yeah, she's sharp. I thought I checked it out before we got on. Yeah, tell me about this serial entrepreneur and this drive, and because some people like, hey, I want to start a business. I want 2. I want 3. I mean. What is that?
Well, there's just what we call it by the grace of God, because there were opportunities that were presented to us at the right time, and we were in those right situations where we could do it. Like the manufacturing, it was a plant that was about to close down, and we were contacted by some people, the Shoals Economic Development Council Authority, and they said, "Hey, we don't want to lose these jobs in the community. Is it something that you guys would be interested in?" So we were at the right place at the right time, and the opportunity presented itself, and it worked out. Same thing with the TV station. Jamie and Gloria Cooper came and talked to us about some other things, and We were able to work out a deal to purchase that TV station from them. So it's just those things where right place, right time, and the right circumstances. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's always tons of opportunities that are presented to us, but they don't fit into what we're trying to do. So the things that we have been able to do have just worked, and we've been able to make them work within the Project XYZ umbrella.
And you put, and all this like under the umbrella Project XYZ. So okay, so you know you're doing a little Amazon thing going on, right?
No.
yeah. Because and I'm loving it because I tell people, and you're a businesswoman, and I know you all know this. I mean, Amazon was a used book company.
It was.
It was a used book online company, and look what has happened. And now, when I'm looking at Project XYZ, with starting with IT and medical, and now all this other stuff, including restaurants, nothing is stopping you. You're not putting a lid. You're not in a place of apathy, a place of comfort, okay? Because you got to get outside your comfort zone to do some of these things.
We have, and that's why I say it's by the grace of God, because me and Larry have even sometimes put obstacle up ourselves, trying to say, well, reasons why we shouldn't do that or whatever. And he has moved those obstacles out of our way because there's certain things I think that he wants us to do, and to be able to do those things, he has provided the resources and the way to make it happen. So who is it from us to say that, okay, we don't want to do that because we don't feel comfortable with that? If it's meant for us to work and for it to happen, it works itself out. So that's just how we've looked at it. We pray about it, we talk about it, we figure out the best way to make it happen and how it fits into the organization, and then we can find a cohesive fit to it. We make it work.
You know, it reminds me of one of my favorite books says, "Much is given, for much is required." And that's so true. And I think sometimes I believe personally that we have a responsibility for the talents God has given us.
I agree.
I believe that God gives us all talents, and some of us have several talents, right? And that He's looking for a return on the investment.
That's true.
On that talent. And you and Larry, y'all are really taking that investment. You're not burying it. You are out there working it. You're working your gift. You're working your talent. And it ain't, sure, you all benefit personally, and you should. But I've been around you all. It's about the people.
It is. It's we make sure we give back to our employees. We make sure we're giving back to the community, and everything that we're doing, we're working at it constantly to make sure it's successful. Because when I say my prayers tonight, I'm not just praying for my family. I'm praying for the family of all of our employees, because I know the decisions that I make affects their lives too. So that's the mindset you got to have. You got to know that the things that happen in your life can affect somebody else's life. And it could be, if you're out sick, or if you decide that you're going to do this and something falls back at the company, it's not just going to mess with you, it's going to mess with a whole lot of people. So I have that mindset that I've got to make sure what I'm doing is at the top level, because if we do something that's wrong or unethical or something happens, it's not just affecting us. Wow. It's going to affect a whole lot of people. So that's something that you got to always keep right there in the forefront. And when you're making decisions, think about it that way.
Wow. And that's so true. And that's a servant leader. You started out by saying that, you're a servant leader. And I think that's one of the benefits of being a servant leader, because when you're a servant leader, you make it about the people. It's people first.
It is.
And when you make decisions, it's not about just you and your family. It's about those extensions that you affect on a daily basis.
Correct.
And that's important. We need more people like that in our country and in our world. And I commend you for that. And I'm serious, because that's something that we really, really need more of. And you busy, and you could be like, look at us, and you're not doing that. You steady trying to help people get to where they need to be. And I believe, as Zig Ziglar said years ago, we want to go somewhere, grow and go, then help other people.
Exactly.
Get to helping other people, and that's good. We're gonna switch gears.
Okay.
We got a lot of gears to switch, y'all, tonight.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna pull out some of y'all. Boom. It's called The Power of 10, okay? It's called The Power of 10. I'm gonna sit this right here for just a second. It's called The Power of 10. This is Kim's new book.
Yep.
Okay, and I want to talk
March
about this
10th.
a little bit. Just came out with
March 10th.
March the 10th. I saw, and I talked to her because I saw little things coming up, and I tell her, like, what's going on? She's like, I got a book. And I went straight to Amazon. I got my copy. By the way, and before you leave, I need my little name there.
I will
Okay,
make sure.
thank you. I need my little name there. Okay. Uh, so it's called The Power of 10, and I want you to talk about
You
that
done pulled some
title. Oh yeah. I'm going. So you said here this is in the introduction. You said on page 10. You said every human being possesses the ability to lead. However, every human being does not recognize their ability to lead.
And I truly believe that. I think God, like you said before, God gave us all talents, and we have got to lead in those talents, whatever they are. Every talent's not the same. So what my quote being a leader is may not be the same as yours. You can still lead in whatever area that is, and I think we all have got to capture that, because you might not be leading a company of 300 plus people, but you may be leading a small group of people that you're working with.
Yeah.
So you've got to use those opportunities to help each other get to the next level.
Yeah. And I agree with you. One of the greatest leadership books I've ever written. I mean,
Outside
I wrote
of
some. Read outside of this one is one Dr. Miles Monroe called Leadership, and he talks about the leadership and the spirit of leadership, and it's basically the same thing, that everybody can lead, but people just don't discover it.
Correct.
We need to be making leaders and not followers, because every good leader is a follower.
Correct.
Right? And I think that's so great. Power 10. What can you talk about that without revealing it, or you want to do the read?
Oh, I don't mind
Okay.
tell.
What does that mean?
It's the power of 10. I think I mentioned before, I'm the youngest of 10 children. And all those leadership skills that I talk about in the book actually gleaned one of those leadership skills from each one of my siblings. And then the last leadership skill I actually gained from my husband. So that's the number 10. So I just think that there's always mentors and people in your life that can influence you. And you have got to take advantage of those opportunities, because you can learn something from anybody you come in contact with. I was just blessed to learn each one of those leadership skills from one of my siblings.
Wow.
So.
Okay. So all right, and so being that, and reading through the book, I caught that. All right. So you said in chapter 1, which is entitled, "Are you sure about that?"
Correct.
Are you sure about that? And you're talking about listening to your voice of reasoning. Listen to your voice of reasoning. My sister Flo, okay, is my oldest sibling. Since I can remember, she has been the nurturer in our family, an attribute she undoubtedly acquired from our mom. And you goes on to talk about how she would basically challenge you when you going to do some business decisions, and like, okay, what's going on, and have you thought about that, and those type things.
It is. And like I said, each one I learned something from. Flo she will do any and everything that you ask her to do, but she's going to make you think through what decision you're going to make. And you need somebody like that. You can't always be ready to just jump out and do something. You need somebody that's literally sitting right here on your shoulder saying, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? To protect you from some downfalls that you might even be aware that's happening. Sure. And I think sometimes as leaders, we think that we don't have to hear anybody else. We can go out and do this because we've got this far. But I don't think that way. I always want a optimistic voice, but I also want a voice that's going to tell me the sky's falling if I need to. So that way I can find the common ground and find the best solution. Because sometimes I think we don't always want to hear both sides of things, but you need that to have a good balance.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Then this chapter 4, the bold, okay, the bold, B-O-L-D, and the beautiful, the bold and the beautiful. You said boldness is fundamentally about confidence and courage. Bold leaders come in all shapes, sizes, ages, backgrounds, and cultures. Bold leaders are clear about what they want and where they are headed in life. Can you just say a little bit about that? Because already is one of my favorite chapters. Okay.
Well, I think sometimes you've got to be bold. I mean, to be a leader, you've got to be bold enough to step out and do some things that aren't comfortable. I mean, you've got to get out of that comfort zone. You've got to get out there and do some things that people don't think you should do. That particular chapter is actually talking about my sister Mary. My sister Mary now is the mayor of the town of Triana.
That's right.
So it's one of those things that wasn't something she aspired to be, but she saw opportunities. She saw where she could make a difference. So she was bold enough to step up on that thing and do it. So I think that's just it. You know what you're capable of and want to see a change and see a difference. So you got to be bold enough to go after it.
Kim, I read a lot of books just like you. I wrote books and writing one now and all that kind of stuff. you thought about this book.
I did quite a bit.
This is
This
not.
is a 2-year project.
I believe it. You
Yep.
know, I really do, because I was reading. I was like, whoa. This ain't something she just got some stuff from different places. This is well thought out. I mean, then I started seeing the siblings, and I said, "Oh, that's why I asked you. Did you want to reveal it? Because I caught it. I was like, oh. I'm like, what's the power of 10? So I'm reading. I'm like, oh, there it is. 10 siblings. Each one of them have an attribute. Okay, and you go through the attributes and all that stuff, and that, which is really good. Each chapter have a takeaway.
It does.
Which is really good. And so that's powerful, because you took your life and your siblings and showed how you learned from them to be where you at. You stand on the shoulders of giants.
I am, and
Man.
they always have my back, and that's
Wow.
what we grew up as a very close knit family, and we still are. And no matter which one of us is doing what, we're all cheering, we're all there, and we're all going to help each other get to that next level. And I think that's what we all need, even if it isn't your biological brothers and sisters. You still need that group of people that's got your back at whatever you're going to do, because there's going to be people throwing darts.
Oh,
So you
my
gotta
goodness.
have somebody trying to deflect them for you. So I was just blessed that they were my siblings.
Wow. I mean, you are blessed. You are,
Yes.
because some people, of course, some don't have siblings, and some have siblings that they don't get along with, right? And that's unfortunate. That's not how it should be. But you know, it takes a village.
It does.
Man, it takes a village.
Because
And-
when we were growing up, we were those country cousins. It's 10 of us. Most
Yeah.
people don't have 10 kids nowadays.
No,
so
no.
that's not a norm, and people portray you and see you in a certain way because it's 10 of y'all. It's a whole bunch of kids around there. But that's just not who we were. We still embraced it and still do to this day.
Wow. Okay. So we're gonna move on to one more thing, maybe, and get your questions together. We're gonna answer a couple of them, and I'll be looking, and I'm sure Josh will be looking too. So go ahead and get those questions ready, and we'll hopefully answer one or two of those. Last, I'll say maybe next to last. Okay. You've done all these things. You're on all these boards. You've helped the community tremendously, selfishly. Some people have been on boards just to have their name. That ain't you.
No.
You are involved. I'm watching you. I'm watching you on the Hills board, and you run around taking pictures of everybody. Okay, you own a multi-million-dollar company, all this stuff. You taking pictures. You involved. You ain't on the stage. You don't care nothing about it. I'm watching. Okay, everybody watching, right? People watch me. So your humility is there.
It is.
And you've done all these things, and now I want you to talk about it and get some details. Now you're running for state senate.
Yes.
You're a candidate for the state senate, District
2.
District 2, right? Okay. Do I think you can do it? Absolutely. Okay. Talk about this. Let's talk about this.
Well, like I said, we've done a whole lot in the community, and being on these different boards and being in the room where stuff is happening, you realize the state has a lot of control on what happens in our community. And I think the next way for me to continue to help and to continue to prosper and continue to help the community grow and prosper is to get to that next level too, to get at that table. I mean, if you look at right now the state senate, there's very few minorities and very few women. From North Alabama, there are no women or any minorities. So we want to have representation there, and the only way to do that is for people to be bold enough to stand up and do it. It's going to be a hard race, but it's going to be something I'm willing to fight all the way through. Come November, I hope I come out with a win. So it's a challenge because politics ain't my like a lot of things I've done. It isn't my cup of tea, or it's not something I'm used to doing. But I'll figure it out, and I'll be the best representative that I can be for this area.
Wow. And here's the thing. You're not a lifetime politician.
No.
But you said I'm gonna figure it out. Because I believe that. I mean, your track record says you will figure it out. Okay, that's powerful because many people, if they haven't did anything or some things, excuse me, and they don't have expertise in it, they said, no, I'm not gonna try that. I'm not gonna take that risk. I'm not gonna take that chance. And then
I might not have expertise as being a politician, but I've got expertise as being a community leader, expertise as being someone that is a servant to the people. That's what a politician's supposed to be.
Oh,
A politician's
no,
supposed
you
to be
educating
somebody
us.
to serve the
That's
people
true.
that put them into office.
That's true.
And I've been doing that all along.
Yes, you
So
have.
I just look at it as an easy transition to another level and just doing it from a different perspective.
Wow.
So I just think people need to realize that you don't have to have a political science degree. You don't have to have that to learn what it takes to be a legislator. But you do have to have a servant heart to the people you're supposed to be serving.
Right. And that's powerful because our legislators supposed to support us and represent us.
Correct.
And it should be a people's job.
It is.
And a servant job. And of course, you definitely have done that, which makes you more than qualified to run. I mean, I'm serious. And I hope that we could get back to that being what it is, and not the quote unquote politics. And you're smart. You know things, how things how things play out, and how to maneuver yourself in certain situations. But I think you coming from such a pure place of help and change, it's refreshing.
Thank you.
It's refreshing, and I think if people was really honest, and hopefully we get back to that too. If we was really honest, we all say it's refreshing, whether it's you or anybody else.
Correct.
It's refreshing because that's some things that we need. Now, okay, you do all these things. How Larry, okay. Larry is a smart guy. Kim's husband is a smart dude. I mean, he's a smart guy. He's a business guy. I mean, he knows things about investing and all that. I mean, he loves that.
That's his passion.
That's his passion. How do he allow you to be you in doing this, especially now in running? Because when you run for Senate or any position, but state,
it's a
family. Your family's running.
Correct.
It's fair game.
It is.
Right? So how does he fit in all this and allow you to be Kim Lewis?
Because we have a mutual respect for each other. He knows what my heart and passion and where things are, and just as I know what his is. So it's one of those things, it's a mutual respect for each other that we want each other to achieve the things in life that we want and to do the things that we know is going to be beneficial to the people that we're trying to serve. So it's not necessarily letting me, it's one of those things where he's encouraging me to be what we think is the right path.
Wow. Yeah.
So we're just a team on that. I mean, we've always been that way. We've all seen each other grow and prosper and do things, and I think that's how we continue to be successful, is because we are each other's strength and weakness when the other person needs it.
I hope everybody listen to that. You are each other's strength and weakness, and you allow one another to be who they need to be in your team. Even though, because people, I think sometimes when people think in order to be a team, that person got to be doing what you doing,
No. We're totally opposite.
Yeah, y'all are totally opposite. I mean, y'all really are. But yet you're a team because of that support of one another.
Correct.
And so many, I think, couples think that, and I see this in ministry even, that the person got to be co-pastor, this and that, to be a team. No, to be a team is mean you're supporting each other in what you're called to do.
Exactly.
And that's so important. And I'm watching you all do this. And I know it's not flawless. I know it takes work. I know it takes sacrifice. It takes understanding.
It took a lot of convincing to do this next year.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Larry, hey, by the way, beside all the other stuff we're doing, I'm going to run for the Senate.
It was something like that, but no.
Yeah, but you're doing it.
Correct.
And you have his support. What about your kids?
Oh, they think it's cool. I've got a 27-year-old daughter, and then I've got a 12-year-old daughter. And my 12-year-old thing is, she's seeing her mom do this type of thing, so it's not uncommon to her.
Yeah.
And that's a powerful thing.
That is.
That to see that your mom is able to accomplish some things. So some of the limitations I might have had as a kid, I'm hoping she doesn't have that, or she doesn't even have the scaredness of it, or any of this stuff, because she's like, hey, if mama can handle this, I can too. And not just my daughter, anybody's seeing it. That if you can see stuff by example, you can make it happen too.
Yes.
And I think that's, as African Americans, growing up, we didn't have a whole lot of examples.
Exactly.
So now we're in positions that we can be those examples for our kids, and then for other people's kids too. So that's what we want to do.
And Kim, I thank you for being an example. And we have and you are an example. And I think, I agree with you. In the past, we didn't have a lot of examples. But I think also now, we have to embrace those examples. You say your siblings, you all celebrate y'all wins. No matter who it is, you all celebrate. And I think that we have to start celebrating one another.
Correct.
If Kim Lewis and Larry Lewis win, Doc Rock win, Audra win, Joshua, my son, wins. Your win is my win. And I think we all have to see it that way, because so many times we get jealous, we get envious. We start we start throwing hate, as they say. We start doing some of those things, and it's not profitable for the ecosystem.
No. And I think if you win and you bring somebody else up with you and the next person, that just brings more people to win.
Yeah.
And we just, like you said, we just got to get out of that mindset.
Yeah.
And I think it's because sometimes there's only that one. They only allow one person to do this and one person to do that. So everybody's fighting for that one position. But when you get in that position, you can change that from being just one to have 5 or 6 or how many. And then that you don't have to fight so hard because there's other opportunities for you to get there.
No, you're right. And I take the executive board that you appointed me to, and then others are on there, and then I got to suggest another person, I won't call her name, to be on the executive board, and that person's like, oh, that's great, and I thank you for that because each one reach one, and we owe it. Once the door is open for you. You are required.
Put that foot up there and hold it
That's
open.
right. You got to hold it open. You got to hold it open for somebody else to get on in there.
Yep.
And that's,
for them to hold it for the next.
That's right. And that's so important. It's so important. We have a few questions. Now, before I go to one of the questions, Power 10. How do we get this? Now, I got mine. I know how to get it. I'm trying to get how.
You can go to kimcottlelewis.com and order directly on the website, or it's actually on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles. Just look under the Power of 10. Or under Kim Cottle Lewis, and you'll be able to find it.
Barnes & Nobles, kimcottlelewis.com, Amazon. Hey, we got about 3 ways for you to get it. No excuse. Come on, get the Power 10. Because so many times people write books, so many people are keynote speakers and do those things. And because I'm one of those, so I'm not down them. But sometimes, let me say it this way, you are proven.
I'm trying.
And you're not where you're going to be, but you have a history of success behind you. So I always tell people, you can't tell a person where to go. You can't tell them to go a place you've never been.
Correct.
And you've been there. And so so credibility is on here. Here's one of the questions. This is Stacey Dukes. How should I handle, and maybe I want to tell y'all name, but I don't want me to do that now. I already did now, Stacey, and I know you, so don't beat me up, okay? How should I handle being overlooked in corporate America by upper management? And of course, there's many, Stacey. So, how should I handle being overlooked in corporate America by upper management?
That's a hard one.
That is.
Because some people don't see your worth. Some people don't see the things that you need them to see. Sometimes that means you may have to change a job. And if that's not an option, you need to let them know that you feel like you're being overlooked. I think sometimes we get complacent or we don't want to rock the boat, so we don't want to go in and tell them, but you can document what you've done, you can show them the things that you've done, and then take that to them and say, hey, I think I deserve more, or I think this is where I should be. So it's on you to let them know how you feel, and then if they don't give you the response you need or the response you think you deserve, there may be a chance for you to find somebody else that will appreciate you.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I think it's great. It is. My late mentor, Dr. Maurice K. Wright, would tell me, he would say, son, go where you're celebrated.
Yes.
Not just where you're tolerated. And that's so, go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated. Hang around people that where you celebrated at. And if you have a gift, especially in the world today, if you got a gift and you got a great work ethic, you don't have to take junk anymore.
No, there's tons of opportunity.
Tons of opportunity that's out there. And I want to encourage you all to start asking questions, because you'll learn so much from questions. And I tell people we need to lead with questions. We're almost out of time, but today we were fortunate to chamber annual meeting, and even this morning we had Rebecca Ryan,
yes,
who's a futurist, who kind of not predict the future based on data and things of this nature, and we was talking about our future, and that stuck with me, because she said most people think in strategy for now, we're in survival, or 45 years from now, but futurists, we talking about 50 years from now. Possibly 100 years from now. And that struck me.
It did. I think we both talked about that even afterwards, because we're so reactive to the moment that sometimes we can't even see 5 days from now. Yeah. And I think sometimes that hurts us, because if you don't get a plan in place of where you want to go, how are you going to lay the plan out to get there? Right. So when she's saying a futurist, she's truly looking at trends and looking at things that are happening now and how they can affect the future. Because one of the examples she gave, she said that she saw stuff happening over in Europe and knew something was going to happen at some point with the gas prices
Right.
and things
Yes,
happening.
yes.
And she actually showed where that happened, where she predicted
Yes,
that
she
back
did.
then,
Yes.
and where it is now.
Yeah.
So there's trends and stuff. We just got to pick up on those things. And I think that's where we get so tunnel vision on what we're working on right then and there that, like she said, you can't see the peripheral things
yeah,
around
right,
you
right.
because you're so focused in one area.
Yeah, and and I was telling you earlier in the chamber, I said, I call it heads up and heads down.
Yep.
We got to be heads down and getting business done, but at the same time, we got to be heads up so we can see those trends. We can pick up on those, as she called them, signals, those weak signals of what is going on, and then we have to accept it. I think sometimes we see things sometimes and we're like, nah, ain't what happened, because we don't want it to happen. But when it's there, it's there. And it's not like you're not gonna win and make it through it. My favorite book, it talks, hey, Egypt, you're gonna go through some things. But when it was, I tell people, when it was dark in Egypt, it was light in Goshen. So we all gonna go through some things. We're gonna catch some colds along the way. But that don't mean that you don't stop, don't accept it, and that don't mean that it's not gonna work out in the end.
Correct. It may just stall you for a moment
Right.
or have you slow pacing for a moment, but that doesn't mean it can't stop your trajectory for it.
Absolutely, and our future, I'm a very optimistic person, as you know, and but we have to be real. But I do see a great future for us, but we just got to come to grips with some things, get some things back in order, and see what's going on. She even talked about that. Basically, she predicted even the war going on right now.
Yeah.
She talked about that like, whoa, we see all these things. Don't y'all see it? Yes, we see it, and we have to start singing and start acknowledging so we can go forward.
Correct.
And be all that we need to be.
Yep.
Kid, this has been really good.
Thank
This is great woman of God. This has been good. I want you, Kim, I want you to look at that camera right there, especially, and I just want you to tell the people anything that's on your heart before we close out tonight.
I just want to encourage people to be whatever you want, to strive for those things. And yeah, there may be some no's, there may be some challenges that come your way, but just don't let it stop you, because I think sometimes we get so hung up in being comfortable that anytime we get out of that comfort zone, we end up stifling ourselves. So step out, getting that uncomfortable.
Yes.
A little bit.
Oh, I love it. Step out. Listen, I've had a great time tonight. Hopefully you had a great time tonight.
I did.
As we talk about lead and achieve, because we're going to lead and we're going to achieve all that is in store for us. One time a person stopped me, Kim, and they said, "You want it all." They're trying to be mean to me. I said, no, I don't want it all, but I want everything that God has for me, nothing less and nothing more.
That is true.
And it's going to take some work, okay, and we're going to do it. So I thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And this is just part one.
Yes.
So much in you. You're going to come back later on.
We will.
And we're going to talk about
Especially in November.
Yeah, especially in November. Get out there and vote, you all. Get out there and vote and do what we're supposed to do.
That's one other quick
No,
thing.
no.
Make sure that you are registered to vote, that you've got your family registered to vote. Find out where because like I said, the district lines have changed. Things have changed this last session. So make sure you know where you're voting now. Make sure you've got yourself registered and educate everybody on what's happening. Because I think we can make a bigger impact and a bigger difference if we just take the time to learn what's going on around us, the people that are representing us, and get out and vote. Your vote will count, because when you're talking about a Senate race, it could come down to less than 100 votes. So we need everybody out ready to go. The primary's in May. I don't have a primary particularly for my race on my side, but there are tons of Democrats and people that are on the ballot in May. Make sure you get out then, and then of course make sure you get out and vote in the November election.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm glad you said that. So go out there and vote. Get the book as well. Go get the book. Learn, grow. Nothing can stop you. Kim, I have no bad days. Bad minute, maybe a bad hour, maybe a bad few hours, but never a full day, because we have too much to get done. So here it is, guys. It's Super Sunday. It's Marvelous Monday. It's Terrific Tuesday. It's Wonderful Wednesday. It's Triumphant Thursday. It's Fantastic Friday. And it's Successful Saturday. I'm Doc Rock. This is Kim Lewis. You join us at the top. We'll see you later.